Welcome to Commack High School on the first ever high school game day. First round of the playoffs, we have the 1-seeded Commack Cougars hosting the 8-seeded Brentwood Indians on the field right behind us at 1 o'clock. It's 43 degrees outside, a little bit windy. Definitely will play a factor in today's game. We'll see how the teams prepare for that and are able to deal with the elements. So Christian, what do you think about this game?
I think it's going to be a real interesting matchup. They played week 1 and Commack blew them out, so it's going to be interesting the adjustments that Brentwood makes to try to get the victory here.
And you know what, as long as Brentwood's working on their defense, I think this won't be a problem for them today.
I think it's going to be a battle in the trenches. It's going to be a battle throughout the whole game. You got quarterback the ball hauled, which is a real threat on the ground. I think he's going to, if the Commack defense can stop them, I think it could be a good game for Commack.
Now Jordan, let's put you in the Commack locker room for a second. You're the 1 seed, you're undefeated, 8-0. How do you make sure this isn't a trap game and you could ensure that you could get this win and make sure you win pretty handily?
I think you got to prepare like it was the Station North game. You got a big game playoffs, even though it's a 1-8 game, it could be an upset. You can't overlook it. You can't look for next week and expect to go to the semifinals.
Now Chris, let's put you in the Brentwood locker room. You're going uphill, you got a tough Commack team you have to deal with. What would you do to try and stop the high-powered offense that comes at them?
Well, Brentwood, in order to be successful, they got to be able to stop the ball. Everything Commack does is off the run, so they have to be able to stop the run, and from there I think they could have some success.
Now, Commack, last game, the first time they met, they really ran the ball a lot. Now, Brian, what do you think about that strategy? Would you change up the game plan, or would you stick trying to run the ball, or would you switch it up, have Robbie try and pass more? What do you think?
I think you keep giving it to Willie Monroy. Willie Monroy is a key player to today's game. Willie Monroy last game rushed for about 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a key player for today. And Robbie Paccione, if he keeps up that cannon of an arm, throwing to Ogie Contressa and Matt Risek, this won't be a problem for Commack today.
Okay. Now there's another matchup on the slate today. We have the 4-seeded William Floyd Colonials going up against the 5-seeded Patchogue Medford Red Raiders. This is the closest game on paper in the playoff bracket, and it's definitely going to be a great game. Chris, what do you think about this interesting matchup?
I think, well, 2 traditional programs, William Floyd, they're in the playoffs every year. They won 3 straight Long Island championships a couple years ago. And then you got Pat Med, the high-powered offense, Anthony Lee at quarterback, and Connor Coughlin, wide receiver, top quarterback and wide receiver tandem on Long Island.
And you know what, Chris? Connor Coughlin, #1 right now on Long Island receiving. He's got about 800 receiving yards, got about 13 touchdowns. And then you look at Anthony Lee, #1 quarterback right now on Long Island. He's got 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, got about 1,700 passing yards. It's nothing to look over.
So clearly the Pat Med passing attack is going to be a big factor in this one. For Floyd, how are they going to try and shut down this dynamic duo of Kaufman and Lee?
I think you got to get Lee off his spot. You can't let him sit back in the pocket and wait for Coughlin to get his separation from the receivers and make the big plays downfield.
So for Floyd, they really run the ball mostly. They don't really have much of a passing attack. If you're Pat Med, do you stack the box and make Floyd beat you through the air?
You can't let Chris Faison beat you. The best player on Floyd, you don't let the best player on the field beat you. So I put about 8 in the box and let them beat you in the air.
So those are the 2 games on today's slate. After the break, we will talk about the 2 games that took place last night between Connecticut and Longwood and Sachem North and Northport. Welcome back to high school game day. So last night, the playoffs kicked off for Division 1 with 2 games. We had the 3-seeded Sachem North against 6-seeded Northport. Sachem North had this game pretty handily throughout. They ended up winning 42-12. They dominated on the ground with a rushing touchdown by Chris Bierla. And Northport just seemed overmatched throughout the entire game. For the other game, we had 2-seeded Connecticut against 7-seeded Longwood. Longwood struck first with a 4-yard run, but missed the extra point. Connecticut then went on 33-0 run, won 33-6. With Tyler Nason having 2 44-yard touchdown catches. So Longwood is out along with Northport, and Sachem North and Connecticut will advance to the next round. So, back to the Commack versus Brentwood game. Who do you have for your key of the game, Jordan?
My key to the game is Kevon Scott. Like I mentioned before, Laval Hall, quarterback on Brentwood, loves to rush on the ground, loves to run the option. He contains the outside and gets the pressure on the quarterback. I think he'll stop him, and Commack will be able to stop the Brentwood offense.
You know, my key to the game today is Matt Risek. Matt Risek is a key player for the whole season. He's got a lot of touchdowns. The top-rated player on Suffolk right now. Him and Robbie love to connect to each other. I think they'll connect to each other for about 2 touchdowns today. Risek will have 100 yards receiving.
I think key to the game will be the running game for Commack, and specifically Willie Monroy. He's had a big year. He's a team captain, 822 yards, 8 touchdowns, and I think in order for Commack to be successful and win this game, they're going to have to establish themselves on the ground and run the ball effectively.
And for me, I have Kyle Perpich as the key to the game. Leader of the offensive and defensive line. I think he could control the trenches, help establish that run game that Commack relies on, and also stop the run game on defense, which Brentwood goes to a lot. So I think Kyle Perpich will have a dominant effect on this game. Now for Brentwood, how do you think they could pull off this upset? What do they need to do?
Well, they're going to have to figure out how to run the ball. Last time, Commack, with the best defense on Long Island, they were able to stuff the option game for Brentwood. I think this game, Brentwood's going to have to figure out how to move the ball, and they're going to have to try to throw the ball because there's just no way they're going to be able to run on this Commack defense.
In order for Brentwood to win this game right now, they're going to have the secondary is going to have to step up. They're going to have to be careful with Robbie's passing. Robbie loves going deep to Risek and going deep to Augie. They're both 2 huge players. You better watch out for them. It's something to watch.
I think Brentwood has to control the ball and not let the offense, Commack's offense on the field. The Commack offense can be very explosive if you let them have the ball for a certain amount of time.
Now, I think Brentwood has to stop the run. Commack has relied very heavily on the run. They have a very good running game. Their offensive line is one of the best in the county. And I think Brentwood has to focus on stopping the run and trying to limit the high-powered Commack offense to not run up the score and hopefully keep them under like 20 points to have a chance to pull off this upset.